going on, guys? You're watching Everyday Struggle. I'm Nadeska here with Akademiks and Wayno. Today we actually have Birdman on the show. That's a very special guest. I never thought he would come up here, so I'm sure that's going to be a very interesting conversation. But first, of course, we have to address some just devastating news that we were all dealing with yesterday. So basically, as soon as we wrapped yesterday, our producer came in to talk social cuts. Someone from crew ran in and told us that Pop Smoke was killed, and it just really knocked the air out of all of us. So of course, I think all of you know by now, he was killed on Wednesday morning in Los Angeles. Early reports said that he was shot during a home invasion and a robbery, but now new reports are alleging that it could have actually been a targeted hit. TMZ, of course, got surveillance footage which showed 4 men entering the house around 4:30 in the morning Pacific time. They said multiple shots were reportedly fired, only hitting Pop Smoke, and he was pronounced dead at a West Hollywood hospital very shortly afterwards. Pop Smoke was only 20 years old. I just had a chance to meet him a couple weeks ago. He was on my Apple Music show. Such a cool dude, just full of personality, and he was just talking about how he had the mental shift, realizing that, you know, it's not like the streets, it's not the feds questioning you, like interviews aren't as bad as they seem, like it's part of your career, you know. He was like really starting to turn that corner. It seemed to like really just adapt to the industry, and I know it just hurts someone being so young, being lost. And I know, Wayno, you had a personal connection with him as well.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I met Pop last year. His manager is one of my very, very close friends, Rico Beats. And like I was walking into an office one day and they was walking out, and he introduced, I didn't know he was an artist. You know what I mean? He introduced me to him because Rico always like got some of his little homies around. And the first thing he said was like, yo, me and my niggas be watching you every day. Y'all be saying some real shit on there. Like, you know what I mean? We fuck with you. So I didn't think much of it. You know, by the time I had took my my A&R position, I seen like, I think Meet the Woo started to build up and everything. And like I actually wanted to sign him, but it was, you know, I couldn't get in on it. It was too expensive of a deal. But you know, in November, he actually reached out to me. He DM'd me and just asked me, you know, what I'd be doing later. And he was saying that he was gonna be in the studio. So he was like, yo, could you come through? And I was like, yo, you know me, like once I'm in for the night, I'm kinda in. But I was like, yo, if you in this week, you know, I'll definitely come check you. And you know, when I posted his album, when it dropped, you know, he wrote into my comments, all of that. Like we just had like a mutual respect for one another because we have a mutual connection in my friend Rico. But like, it's so crazy how things happen so fast, because when I posted his project, I got so much like people that jumped in my comments that had negative things to say just because they didn't like his music or thought that I was a dick rider because I was supporting his music. And, you know, not only was I supporting his music because my friend is his manager, but I genuinely was supporting it because I liked it. I liked the fact that, you know, it was a new New York up-and-coming artist that kind of coined his own sound. You know, he doesn't, we all joke about him having like a Lloyd Banks sounding tone or a 50 sounding tone, but you know, for him to be so young, he was really cutting through. And like, it's devastating. Like you said, when we got the news, we all just stopped everything for a moment. And I think for a moment, like, you know, we all have a connection with each other. So, when you was leaving, you was like, yo, be safe today, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Vice versa with all of us. Like, these moments is just, they're tragic. It kind of, I wasn't as close with him as I was cool with Nipsey, but like, it kind of took me back to that same mental space where it's like, damn, this is another entertainer, another artist that I knew and supported, that's life was taken from him too shortly.
Hard for family and friends, someone's life being cut that short. And then also just, you know, you start to think of all the things he could have been. He was already at the forefront of this drill movement. And what's interesting about him was he was very much a uniting force. He was not, you've made the point that in New York, if you show someone love, then you're dick riding. He was cool with Lil TJ and Fabio Foreign, and it really felt like he was bringing everyone together to like, so everyone could be great together.
You know, in this music industry, and you know, I consider myself on the media side of stuff, but you know, we all live kind of like this shared experience where like, you know, of course Wayno had a personal connection where like, you know, he knew someone who was really cool with, you know, Pop Smoke, and of course him and Pop, you know, they had conversations, but like every single time we lose someone in the music industry, it's like a punch to the gut. You know, it's that shared experience of like, truth be told, like we're in this, and it is kind of like really, it's such a privileged position to do what we do, to do what he does. And when you see someone lose their life at such a young age with so much potential, with someone that's just about to hit the cusp of like, you know, being in that position where they could really said they have really made it and accomplished their dreams, you know, you start wondering and you start thinking about just everyone's mortality in this shit, because it's almost like we're seeing it too much. Like whether it's Nipsey or whether it's Juice WRLD, you know, whether it was Mac Miller, and even now. And when I heard that yesterday, I was like, I was in disbelief. I was like, nah. Like again, this is our sound man who came in. Salute to my man Dre. He walked in. And he was like, "Yo, did y'all see the news?" And as soon as he said Pop Smoke, I was expecting and
your heart drops because you know the worst is about to come, unfortunately.
But I still expected not that.
Yeah.
I expected maybe, you know, he was arrested or something like that. And of course, those are not even good things. And it's so unfortunate that us in music, like that's automatically the first thing we think about.
Right.
If we're hearing some sudden news about someone, but unfortunately, it was the fact that he passed away. You know, with that, you get to ask a lot of questions.
Right.
You know, like how does that happen? Because you know, I seen a few people made that point, and I don't want to just make it a rap thing. Like we don't really see like new up and coming entertainers getting like really like in other genres of entertainment getting really gunned down or like, you know, really losing their life in really tragic fashions. You know, sometimes we see overdose, you know, that happens within whether you're an actor, you're a musician, you could be doing any type of art, but like it comes to the violence, like you really start to think like this happens almost way too much with that. You know, I really have so much empathy for his family, his friends, like the people who were with them every single day who, you know, the internet and how they perceive shit. And because I always tell y'all, like, we need grief counseling. I see as soon as he passed away, people pointing finger, yo, he did it, or yo, he probably, you know, and could you imagine like losing somebody you're with every single day?
Right.
Like I know people with me who are with me every single day. They've been with me since college.
Yeah.
They've been with me before it worked. They're still with me now that, you know, I'm having some sort of success. Imagine those people, what they're going through. Then to have the scrutiny of like just strangers who, you know, of course, because they're hurt as well.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just saying all type of things, and now you have to defend yourself. I can't imagine what his mom is feeling.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what his close friends, the people who really support him from his neighborhood. This is extremely sad, and you know, I definitely want to take caution in making any overarching like statement in terms of, you know, I see people like, yo, well, this is how you prevent this. We don't really know the facts at this point.
Right.
Like, you know, we really, like, again, we've said about a lot of artists who lost their life. They lost their life because they stayed in their neighborhood too long. But it's not the case. He went to the opposite coast. He was in the Hollywood Hills. And because of that, you think, you know, you have some type of solace or some type of safe space, or even though you are a celebrity, you don't think you're a target, but you really just never know. I hope as we not only mourn him, you know, I hope New York artists themselves get to realize what he was, the flag he was waving in terms of, I want to say, I don't even think there's a quote unquote need to bring New York back. New York is here in terms of just like diversifying the sound, continuing everything going on. And I'm just hoping everyone, you know, realizes his space and just going too soon.
I want to tap in on something too, because like I see everybody using this word, becoming a target, success, you become a target, you become a target. Yo, I don't know the facts. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that it's us targeting our own people. And what I mean is other people who share the same skin color as us, that's murdering us. You know what I mean? And it happens way too often. We like to point the finger at everybody but ourselves. I think that, you know, that's the uncomfortable conversation that needs to be had. You know, regardless to what things may have transpired in one's life, when we talk about all this target shit, who's the targets? But it also goes back to the music. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's in the music, we love the music every day until something happens. You know what I mean? And it's just unfortunate. We looking at this kid. This kid's 20. 10 years ago, he was fucking 10. 10 years ago, I was 27. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just thinking about timeline and, like, he lived such a short life. In hip-hop culture, a lot of the things that we celebrate is is majority of things that bring us despair. And I think that people got to start having not just conversations, but change behavior. You know what I mean? Like change behavior has to happen, because if not, this is just gonna continue and continue and continue. And I hate having moments like this. Like for me, while I wasn't personally super close to him, I feel close in the sense of seeing another young black man lose his life that was trying to accomplish something, no matter what had transpired prior in his life. I seen a person that lit up the room when they walked in. I seen a person who, remember when you told me about the interview and you was like, yo, I didn't know he was going to be as cool as he was.
No, he's like really, you talk to so many artists that are just so dry, it's torture. He's like cool, like a real cool Brooklyn, super charismatic dude, like actually fun to interact with, you know?
And the thing is like, you know, because the content of the music, like, and I'm not just blaming it on one thing, I'm just saying like a lot of the things, I come from the hood, from poverty, all of that shit, that makes everybody what it makes us. Like, we don't have enough conversation. Before it gets to music, we're not having these conversations about gun violence, and not how it only affects the person that you beefing with, but how it affects the sons and the mothers and the aunts and the uncles and the nieces and everybody tied to it. Nobody wins.
Yeah.
My last thing is, you know, I reflect on what a post that 2 Chainz made, and he was chronicling some of the things he's been through since he's been quote unquote on, how he got shot at, people try to rob him, all these violent incidents that, you know, fortunately he's still alive, but he left that tweet with a warning. He says, for all you that wish for this lifestyle and for this success, it comes with this. And as unfortunate as that sounds, it's no way else to explain it.
Right.
It does come with it.
Right.
And it comes with a necessity to take certain precautions, comes with a necessity to move different. It comes with also some things you can't even avoid. Your past, maybe other incidents that you know how you would handle when you didn't have anything to lose. At this point, you could pay the ultimate price. So, you know, I just want to send my condolences to him and everyone who's hurting about his passing, especially his family. I just can't understand, like, I can't even like come to grips with what they're feeling.
Right.
Because he was the one that's supposed to change so many people's lives.
Yeah, you could see how hard it hit New York yesterday, like a wave of upcoming New York artists paid tribute, you know, plus the legends like 50 Cent and Nicki. So I just want to second what Ak said. I think in these moments, like, it's a mixture of the grief, the shock, and also anger, and as a fan wanting, you know, answers for things, but like, please respect, you know, his family and friends and their privacy, and don't go investigating and attacking people on the internet. It's just not the move right now. It's very disrespectful. We just want to say our deepest condolences to, you know, the friends and family of Pop Smoke. Rest in peace, and we'll be back here very shortly with Birdman. All right, guys, so we're back with Birdman. He just lit up the studio when he walked in. His new documentary, New Cash Order, dropping soon on Spotify. Thank you for coming. I never actually thought we would have you on the show, to be honest.
I'm a fan of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, you've been hearing all the shit I've been saying. Damn.
Yeah, I hear everything you say, Fly. I hear everything.
Well, you know what? You doing press for like this time around, like, I was surprised that you were doing press, because I think we rarely hear you speak. You know?
I really don't look at it as press. I really wanted to come to y'all show. You know, I was in town and I made a call and said I wanted to come see. I like what y'all doing. I wanted to come see and come vibe with y'all, come fuck with it.
I appreciate that. That's dope.
Do you think that sometimes, like, you know, like I remember just years ago, like, it felt like everyone was just creating their own narrative and talking about you, and you never really get to say your side. That's why I kind of like you putting out like these content, whether it's the docuseries with Spotify or what you've done with Apple Music. Because now, like, I remember watching the one you did with Apple. It was the biopic, and I was like I look at some things differently because I didn't have no context to it. I'm watching news reports on the media side. Like, is that kind of you doing that?
I could have spoke. I just chose not to speak about it. And this was with Wayne, so Wayne like a son to me. I wouldn't be a man if I speak down or speak towards anything that he ever did or said. So I just sucked it up and kept it moving. I never wanted to speak out of pocket. You know, I try to think before I speak.
In terms of, and you're right about that. In terms of like even that though, like a lot of people famously remembers 4 years ago, you show up to the Breakfast Club, you kind of confront them about certain stuff. Do you regret that?
Not at all. I don't regret nothing about life, anything I've been through, up or down. It just was what it was, and you know, that's behind us. You know, nigga grown, and I believe in, you know, respect. I grew up on respect, and I think if disrespect, we deal with that shit accordingly, however you feel to deal with it. And at that time, I just wanted to go really speak to that man and let him know, you know, we believe in respect, bro. So you plan. I think he was out of doing his job. Sometimes bloggers get out of their character and say shit about people that don't have nothing to do with what's going on. And I just felt the need to step to him, go there and see him and see what's happening, and just ask him to respect me.
Do you see everything that happens online though? Like in terms of what, you know, everybody speak or have spoken on
Definitely.
you. Like how much do you consume? Because it could be frustrating to not respond. Like we never seen you have a Twitter outburst or whatever.
Nah,
you just
I'm not gonna ever do that. I mean, I'm not gonna be that type of man. I ain't never been that kind of man. And I see all that shit. You know, I'm in the music business. That's what I do. You know, it's just like y'all see shit. We see everything. And it's just you can't beat the internet. You gotta let it be. And I always talk, you know, nigga, you know, like my partner, Hop said, two mountains never meet, but two people will. And I live on that. And I never would be a man on social media going back and forth with no nigga, ever.
So you feel like the documentaries are the best way to respond to these kind of things?
No, the documentary ain't got nothing but do with that. That's just basically about, you know, the hard work we put in, the craft we put in, the hard work we put in. It ain't about clearing no air. I feel like I don't have no air to clear up. I let my work ethics and what I do in this game speak for me. I ain't about to be doing all that shit. That don't make no sense to me. I want the money, and that's what I do this shit for. The love of the money.
Yeah, but in terms of like getting to that space where like you're now in charge of crafting the visuals and telling the story, giving the narrative.
Definitely.
Where did that come from? Of course, we saw like, you know, a few years back, you got Straight Outta Compton. It was kind of, you know, for a lot of youngins we didn't really know about like that era. Kind of like, oh shit. Do you feel like you kind of got to refresh like people's minds, or like for the young ones, you got to educate?
We got to remind a nigga what we done did and what we do.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's you know, it's just like any professional sport. You got to do that shit every year. It ain't about what you did last year. And that's the challenge of the game. That's the part of the game I respect. You got to do that shit every year. How smart or how clever you is to keep accomplishing this shit. Because ain't nothing easy about it. Yeah. You know, you try this shit, you'll see how hard it really is. So to me, I like the challenge of being able to do it every year. And what's been said and done, I look at that shit like, that's behind me, and whatever it is what it is. And everything that was with me, that shit clear. Everybody in a good space.
I wanted to know, like, cause me, I mean, I'm growing up in Harlem. The first time I think, what was it? How came out when I still was in high school. So to see that you're still doing stuff today, how is it to adapt to every era?
I be asking myself that shit sometimes, like, but really though, you know, we come from the CDs and cassettes. That was the beginning of the game. Then you had the iTunes, now you got the streaming. And we was able to sustain all levels of the game. I was taught by some great people, Doug Morris and Melvin Winter, and now we got Lucian Grain. And they taught me about the streaming before niggas even knew what streaming was. They taught me about the iTunes before it really was. But we were still stuck on the CDs and cassettes. So, you know, we tested time with Wayne, then we got the Nicki and the Drake. So we was able to see, you know, Wayne come with the CDs and cassettes, then you had Drake and Nicki and them come with just a little CDs and cassettes. It was more iTunes and streamings.
Right.
So, and to be able to accomplish, like I done did over 400 billion streams, bro, so far in the game.
Were you prepared for that transition? It's like, because I remember one interview, I remember sitting at home, I'm nobody, I'm just watching like, and every time I used to look at you, like you were the money talk for me. And I remember you were like, you on an interview, I can't remember who interview it was, but you showed $100 million check or something. Definitely. It was maybe more than that.
Definitely.
And I was like, that's some ridiculous amount of money. Is the money then when CDs were more prevalent?
No, it's more money now.
It's more money now?
It's more money now ever. I be hearing niggas talking about ain't no money in the music business. You know why you saying that? Because you ain't in the motherfucking music business. There's more money in the music business now than it ever been. We was getting hard money back then. It's easy money now. It ain't as hard.
So even with like people seeing like, a lot of people say, yo, a successful first week is like 100,000 now, but like back then, and everybody go platinum. Like, is it still more now?
Sales-wise, it don't look as prettier. you know, because it's streaming now. You know, niggas was knocking off 200-300 hard about it. You gotta go to the store and buy a nigga CD. Now you ain't gotta go nowhere. You can do this shit off your phone. So the money-wise, I think it's more plentiful now. There's so many different ways streaming, niggas eating. There's no reason to be complaining about no money in the music business. Everybody getting money. But back in those days, it was harder. It was harder money, but we always got money and made money. You know, we ran it up, for real, for real.
And with y'all, your business acumen, was it just y'all learning, just getting into it and learning? I mean, I know you applied certain tactics from before, but how hard was it, like, getting into the game, and then once you got into the game, just learning every nook and cranny of this shit?
I had to learn as we went, because the shit happened so fast for us.
Right.
The shit popped, so, and the type of attorneys I had was all from New Orleans. They wasn't built for the music business. So, you know, the music business full of sharks, bro. So we came up here and I learned a lot, bro. I learned a lot I gave up rapping. I gave it to Wayne. I gave it up and went, educated myself to the business perspective of it. But when I came up here, I didn't give up nothing. I kept all my masters. I owned 100% of my company, and that was one of the smartest things I ever did, owning my own shit from day one. 23 years with Universal, and 7 years prior to that, I always owned my own shit.
I remember watching the biopic on Apple Music, and I thought that, I was like, how did you have the foresight for that? To know that, to be honest, I mean, of course, you know, you had other examples of, you know, other people who had kind of similar, you know, deals with like either majors or whoever, but how did you know that that was gonna be like important in the long run?
I didn't. Just young, growing up in the projects and lost a lot of family members young coming up, and I just felt like, how can I give you something you ain't, you know, really we got blood on this money for real. How can I give you something that you ain't worked for? Like, how can I come up here and say half of my company belongs to you? Is you fucking crazy? I mean, my mama dead, my partner's dead behind this shit. So that's the mentality I came up here with, and all I was gonna do was a P&D and get them a small percentage, which was like 18% back in them days.
Shit.
Does it, like, and I asked this to a few artists before, like, you know, the markets where all the offices is at is New York and like LA and sometimes Miami. Did you ever think about like just building a Cash Money building like back in New Orleans so that people could come and see it, like, you know, kids could see it?
Not see it, but we was a fucking building. We was, you know, we looked at our project like that. That's where we hung at. No matter how much money we had or how much money you got in New Orleans, you 5 minutes from everything. So for us, our neighborhood was our building. That shit became a piece of art to people to come see where we come from and how we come up. Besides us having, you know, everything for me was a studio. That became a life, studio. Nothing else mattered. No more trapping. Trap is the studio now. And I showed them niggas how to hustle, and we was gonna hustle together. So, you know, the building was a studio, if you put it like that. Everything was about the studio.
When you've lived such a crazy life and accomplished so much over the past 2 decades, and you're going into making a doc, how do you even know sort of where to begin or how to get in all the information? How do you choose which parts of that journey to highlight?
It's a lot of stuff people never seen, especially way back in those days, a lot of footages and tapes. So it's hard to just put it all together. It's too much, it's way too much. It's too much years and too many times. And so we just take little pieces out. I really let Spotify do their thing and put them with the right people, and I overseen the shit and said what it was. It's really about some new acts too also, some new artists that we're developing. So I kind of just overseen it and let them do what they did with the people I put them in place with.
But before we get to, because, you know, I've been really interested in, you know, how do you like really even fit in this new era and how you get artists. You know, of course, there's been narratives that's been put out that may have, you know, either hurt or maybe not hurt your situation. But I want to ask about the current artists first, and then we get to like the new artists and people even you probably got, right? So it's like we saw all the news reports this and third. What is the status of like a Drake on like on Cash Money?
Great, man. I got a great relationship with Drake. I got a great relationship with my son Wayne. I always looked at Nicki like a little sister. I always have a great relationship with Nicki. Everybody in a good space, but we put the past behind us and we're moving forward and we're trying to finish accomplishing the mission. The whole thing is to complete what we started. Everybody in a good space and we're keeping it moving.
Are they still on Cash Money?
Of course. I'm forever in business with them. Long as they're in that building over there, I'm forever in business with them.
Okay. And like, what about like other acts? Because there was a time that I was looking, I was like, man, he got the next generation with like Thug and Quan. He's saying in these Terminate Rich Gang, but we never really saw that really kind of like fold under Cash Money in terms of like some long-term shit. Like, what was your thoughts on that? And was it a conflict of interest? Because that was a different time with Thug and Wayne, and there's a lot of things going on.
Thug is, first of all, that's like my little brother. I really sat down with Thug and taught him a lot. He lived with me for like 4 or 5 years, and me and him really put in the work. You hear me? So I'm expecting Young Thug to be like a great artist, but a great CEO also, because I taught him a lot. He really sat with me and learned a lot, picked my brains, and that's why you see the Gunners and the Dukes and the Dollars and all of them, they've been around, from day one. So I'm expecting a lot from him, and I think NBA YoungBoy gonna be one of the biggest artists that we've ever seen. I think he's gonna be real big.
Don't you kind of look at that though and be like, yo, man, Thug look up to me like on a crazy level, especially YoungBoy as well. They both showed so much respect to you, but like their situations don't fold up under Cash Money. Like, do you look at YSL now? You be like, man, I just want Thug to win, or you be like, man, that could have been another branch under Cash Money as YMCMB was.
YSL is a part of me. Thug is like my brother for real, like my partner. So for him to win, we win. However I can help him. It ain't always about money. All money ain't good sometimes. I ain't trying to ever make no money off him. I want to help him and show him how to do it so he can help everything that's around him. Same thing with NBA, same thing with my little nephew, Nino. That's what this shit about, is reproducing, bro. Yeah. This was, back in the G, all we had was school and sports. Now we got music to get a nigga out the ghetto.
So Birdman, has it been hard for you to manage relationships over the years? So families go through ups and downs, and I feel like labels like Cash Money, it's a family. Like we've seen Thug and Rich Homie, we thought they were gonna be great together, it didn't work out. Drake and Nicki go through their ups and downs. What is it like being in your position and having to be the person who sort of manages these dynamics as they change?
I just let it be, because I feel it's gonna play out. I'm in the middle of everything with everybody because I hustle with everybody. And if they get along or not, I still hustle with them. I still look at it as a family, and sometimes shit do happens. You just gotta let it play out. I always just looked at it like, I give everybody, I got an open book. I was given an open book with Doug and Mel at a young age in the business. And when Lucian came, he gave me a bigger book. So me being to have an open book, I gave Wayne an open book. He opened his book for Drake and Nicki. And they doing the same thing. I gave Thug an open book, so he opening his book for other people. When I mean by open book, you can spend any amount of money you want, however much it's gonna take, because I believe in what they gonna do. So sometimes you throw money against the wall. That's the music business. It might not mean nothing to the other people, but to them building their brand, we just gotta take that L and make it up later.
That's interesting you said that, because I remember there's a clip of Lucian, right, where he's responding. I think Hip Hop DX asked him, was like, yo, they asked him about the Stay Scheming line where Drake is like, yo, tell Lucian I say, fuck it, I'm tearing holes in my budget. And I'm like, how does that even, like, is that even a conversation these days? Does it go through you, then it gets Lucian, or like you just have the understanding? It seemed like what you just said now, you have the understanding that the artists that you have, you give them free reign. They could do what they want.
Open book, do whatever you want. Whatever Nicki want to do, she do it. However much she want to spend, she spend it. Same thing with Drake, same thing with Wayne. Whatever they want, I never stepped in the way of nothing. No creativity. I looked at it as creativity. I never looked at it as we just spending too much money. It's what it's going to take to do where we had to go, and honestly, it worked.
So, speaking of creativity, my question is more like a throwback question. Just because like my two of my favorite albums that ever came out with Cash Money is Chopper City, BG,
definitely,
and Guerrilla Warfare. So but with the Hot Boys. So I always wanted to know like, what was the process of like making those? Cause like with Jay, we always get like the Reasonable Doubts, and we get those docs. I never got a chance to see Chopper City. I mean, one of my homies that lived in Arizona, he just came home and was playing tapes. That's how I got put on the New Orleans music. So I always wanted to know, like, is that a part of the doc? Are we gonna be able to get to see a little bit of insight on what BG was doing back in that Turk and all of that?
Definitely. I mean, BG, real nigga, super solid. You hear me? The little homie, he from my neighborhood. Doing that album, we really recorded that in Fresh House. in his house. A lot of that music we did at Fresh House, you know, we still was in the hood. We still was in the project move doing that shit. So that's why that shit so heartfelt.
Yeah.
Because we still was living like that. You know, music is a vibe. It's where you at. That's why sometimes niggas can't do what they did because they ain't living like that no more.
Right.
So BG, that shit was really heartfelt pain. You know, that was his pain.
Yeah.
And that Hot Boy shit, that shit was really, my partners and us, we really grew up calling ourselves the Hot Boys. And I decided to name a group the Hot Boys, but really the Hot Boys was 5, 6 street niggas who was living like that, really living the shit that they was rapping about.
Yeah, I just was watching just clips of Baller Blocking on YouTube.
That's legendary.
Yeah.
Baller Blocking is definitely legendary.
Yeah, are y'all ever gonna get into doing movies again?
We doing movies now. I got a movie I did with me, Chris Brown, and Nick Cannon called She Ball. Come out in May. More documentaries with Apple. That's why we're on the West Coast now. We're doing movies.
You guys almost kind of like now like spirit up like a production company, because it feels like you guys like realize there's a lot of stories to be told. Like, I mean, all that we're talking about, you just like how Straight Outta Compton was that movie theater experience of that. Like you guys still got many experiences that you got to do, right? So, like, what even sparked you to get into that in terms of let's do a couple biopics and docu-series to kind of
then I'm gonna do the real movie. That's the plan. That was the setup.
But what even inspired that
really
initially?
Though, bro?
Because you were very heavy in music.
Definitely.
A lot of times people they're so heavy in music they don't look into other industries that still could support the music but just tell the story a different way.
I'ma always be in music. I ain't never not gonna hug the block. The music is my first love. I'm never gonna let it go. I watch other niggas let it go, and that what made me want to grab it even more so. I really like what 50 Cent doing because I saw him transfer. That's my partner, a friend of mine, but I like how he really going and taking it to a whole nother level. Besides that, we only had Will Smith to do what he doing, but I really like how he transferring from hip hop to going on that side of the fence. And that shit ain't easy. That's why you only have a few people doing it, but I'm tapping into the movie side, and but I'm always music is first.
What has it been like in Hollywood, though? I think, to your point, especially with things like Oscars So White trending a few years ago, we know that black people aren't the most welcome in those spaces. What has your experience been?
Well, I come with my own capital, so I ain't running around asking no nigga to do nothing for me. So
you fund some of the stuff?
I fund, me, Nick, and Chris Brown fund our own movie. And everything I do, I kind of like to fund my shit. You know, our biopic, it's fun. The movie gonna be with Universal, but if I needed to put my own money up, I would have.
So you pretty much kind of have the same thing you took from the block in terms of a hustler's mentality you brought to the music industry. You're trying to bring, you know, the movie industry is a little bit different though. A lot of people wait for other people to fund it.
Right.
You're saying, fuck it, I'll do it.
If I gotta do it, I'm gonna do it. I believe in myself and my thoughts, first of all. So anything I do, if I ain't waiting on nobody to do it for me. I never did.
I want to know, like, cause I'm a big Slim fan. You know what I mean? But Slim don't talk like hardly. Like everything he says is really precise, but it's like very few. Can we ever get him to do a book, like on business? Like I would love to see a book.
My brother got a book together called Business Mind. We did it. We probably put it out 2022, our 25th anniversary. That's when our movie come out 2022, our 25th anniversary. So we planning shit for that. You know, I always try to stay ahead of time. What I did, I done, bro. And that is what it is. And, you know, we got goals, bro. One of my main goals in the music business left is for me, I want to do 1 trillion streams. I feel like I've been accomplished something. That shit like trying to figure out a pyramid or some shit. I want to see niggas do it. I would like to see, before I leave this planet, somebody accomplish these type of things.
Do you look at, like, with everything going on and, you know, in terms of, like, you get new artists and, you know, like, we see, like, you're still very much involved in the music game, but, like, does it become, you know, a lot of times these new rappers or these, you know, when some people are young, they don't understand it or they might not even respect the legacy of certain shit. Is it harder to kind of, like, you know, tap into, like, yo, you see a new artist kind of popping up, you're like, yo, listen, let me explain the situation you could have over here. Is it harder or it's easier because of the legacy?
It's probably easier. I can't say it's harder because you got a lot of niggas already want to be with this shit. you know, they grew up on Cash Money. They're familiar with some type of affiliation or something like that. But I just be trying to show a nigga how we really can be more than just an artist, bro. It's about, you know, nowadays a nigga can be more than just the artist. The artist can put on artists. At one point, we ain't have CEOs. Niggas like I was the only nigga in this shit. Everybody quit. You heard me? Now you see it's more popular. Like, you know, I really like what P doing down there. I like what TDE doing. I love what Young Thug doing, because I taught Thug the game. You know, besides what Wayne, Drake, and Nicki doing, anybody that's embracing other artists, I love it. I like to see it. That's what this shit about to me.
Yo, I got another question. Like, all my questions is old shit. Like, I'm just keeping it 100 just because, like, another album, I Got That Work.
Yeah.
How did, like, I always want to know, who the hell is Ziggy?
He a little partner from the hood.
Bruh.
Yeah, he was like, you know, you always got that one crazy nigga on the block just joke all day. He was that nigga, and I just wanted to put him in. We was really, first of all, we was living like that.
Right.
That's how we was living. You know, nigga got money and we went crazy.
Right.
And Ziggy was the little crazy nigga that always was around.
So like with that, I always wanted to know what big time is subject matter, because y'all always had like records that was like not going against morals. I wouldn't say going against morals, but like still fly. Like Still Fly. It was just, how did y'all come up with records like that where you tapping into something that like people really should be panicking if they can't pay their rent because all their money spent? You know what I mean? But you turned it into a good time. Like, how did y'all be able to make them type of records?
Nigga was really doing that shit, spending all their money, and you heard me, gotta figure out how to pay the rent. That's fresh, bro. Fresh, big time of shit. You know, the jury and the stunting, that shit always, that was me. You heard me? Just coming up, unfortunate in life, and when we got money, I went crazy. And Fresh was a kind of comedian. Niggas do all those funny ass shit. And he'll come up with weird shit like that, singing on the hooks. And he come up with that Still Fly shit. He come up with all that singing shit was fresh. I wasn't with the singing shit back then. I was with, fuck it, we living like, you know, I wanted to stunt. And he wanted to do that other shit.
Yeah, I was just, remember Nadeska, I was just telling you, I looked at the #1 stunner video the other day, and I was just saying about like how all those cars, when I was a kid, them shits look so ill and modern, but now they just look like big ass VCRs with wheels on them. I want to know another car question, because I seen Wayne on the Drink Champs, and he was saying about how, you know, you would just take a car, like he'd leave his car at the studio, and you would just take the car and deck it out, put TVs, 20s, and all of that. Was that like a Cash Money standard, or was you just always into cars? Like?
Really just growing up, not understanding why nobody ain't have shit. Like, how we had one car, no AC, like, just growing up fucked up just made me, like, I just bust out, like, fuck that shit. I want every car they ever made. I had 60, 70 cars, and everything had to have sound. We ain't even drive that shit without painting it and changing the leather in the inside. You know, I just always was fascinated with cars, but when we got the money and was able to really do that shit, I just went crazy, for real.
We see Cash Money West. We see like Blueface, whether people even think about it. I don't think people, the first thing they think about is Cash Money when it comes to Blueface, but we see like even new artists like Blueface popping up. You got other artists that, you know, you've signed or you're working with. How does that come about, and are we about to see like almost like a new era of Cash Money where maybe like, you know, like when it came to Wayne, you were very present. You know, even when it came to YMCMB, like we thought of Birdman, but like we're getting the new artists where maybe they might not be that connected, but it's still under the umbrella.
Definitely. I'm still into it, but not as much as I was when we was developing all that. You know, like I just felt like the Cash Money West, like I think they got a lot of talent on the West, and it's not a lot of embracement for us with the labels. They really got to come way over here to get some play. So I just felt like putting an imprint on that side, and I reached out to Wack, and he brought Blueface, and you know, I just felt like the West Coast just need an umbrella over there, because it's for them to get an umbrella, they had to come here. So I was moving on the West Coast, and I just wanted to embrace them while I was over there, because I love music.
I was gonna say, like, didn't Cash Money West kind of start with like Mac 10?
Mac 10 is my partner. That's like my brother. Yeah, we did things back in the G, but that we didn't finish it,
Yeah,
and I started it back up. But always nothing but love and respect for Mac 10. That's my homie.
What do you see now? What do you look for in an artist in 2020? You know, like honestly, when people saw you with Thug, and you know, I always say I give the utmost respect to Thug because when people used to come at him for a lot of stuff in terms of expression he was doing, he never said nothing. He never lashed out. He never was like in his feelings and nothing like that. But you know, it came to pass over time that people looked at him and was like, "Yo, you're a pioneer." Definitely. You know, like, and all the success happening now is him taking them chances back then. What did you see in him back then? And like, let's move forward to 2020. You clearly have something to see, that insight in artists. Like, what do you look for?
What Thug got and what Wayne have and what NBA Youngboy have, they more music, they influence, and Nicki, and of course of Drake, they influence more than just music. Like, everybody wanted to be like Wayne. And I remember Thug started this choker shit. Nigga thought Slime was tripping, saying all kind of negative shit about him. And really, he'd influenced the whole world to do that shit. Like, and Nicki had people want to be Barbies, and NBA Youngboy is the young nigga with that same influence. Is bigger than just music. So that should be a rare breed. Them type of artists that come along that people want to be like them and dress like them. And like right now today, Young Thug got everybody doing shit that I was right there with him, and I remember he saying, "Stunner, we gotta make this shit tight, man. Cut this shit, make it small."
Did you ever be like, "Yo, bro, you tripping"? Nah. Because like you OG, like
I mean, what was meant for him might not have been meant for me.
So you just supported it?
Yeah, I supported it in a high way. Whatever he wanted to do, that's what he wanted to do. I'm right there with him. While all the negative shit.
How can you tell what an artist has? Like, can you remember those? Because every artist has a story, or most artists, of, you know, playing their music or meeting a bunch of people and getting turned down until they found the one person that believed. Like, when you look at your track record, like Thug with the Drake, the Nicki's, the Wayne, it's kind of crazy. So can you like remember the moment with like a Thug, for example, when you knew he had it?
Day one when I met him, I saw something special in him, and I heard his verse. I was like, damn, this nigga nice. He cold. To me, he the shit. But then you got to get it out of him. You have to allow him to be free, to be able to do what he want, shoot what he want. I complied with his vision, and my bet was right. You know, with all of them, I believed in them, and I let them do whatever the fuck they want to do. As many times, however they want to do it, I let them do it. I never, you know, I think that was the purpose of me being an artist. I learned how artists think. You have to let a nigga create. And no matter how much it might cost you, and it might be a loss, just like it's gonna be gains, but you got to let them go. You gotta let them go, and whatever inside of them, it's gonna come out of them. If it's really, really in them, the world gonna know.
Is there any artist currently that you look at and be like, yo, I could have signed him, I should have signed him, but they popped off even without me? Because it do feel like a lot of the, like even I see Kodak, and I heard Kodak speak about you. I said, damn, man, like Kodak, these dudes look at you, they have a different admiration that, you know, sometimes if you listen to other shit, you wouldn't really realize. But is there anyone you felt like, yo, that could have been Cash Money, and yeah, they're doing their thing, but, you know, all respect to that, but
honestly, damn near every nigga in the game could have been Cash Money. Majority of 99% of them been around me, learned something from me. So, even if a nigga not with me, wouldn't mean I want to embrace him. I won't see a nigga win. Go do your thing, blood, you hear me? Because, you know, I won't see somebody, I want challenge, I want a nigga to step up, let's get it. Because I do this shit for real. You know, if I can help him, I'm going to help him, but besides that, I'm going to keep doing what we're doing. But if I wish I had signed somebody, nah, not really. But still, majority of them already still connected to me, if they signed to me or not.
Your relationship with Wayne, yo, I seen like pictures of y'all at the funeral release party. Yeah. Y'all look tighter and closer than ever. You know what I mean? Was there, like, you know, we see, like, again, we're media and me, a fan as well, but we see it with like, yo, man, they look like they're probably not happy with each other, like behind the scenes or whatever. Like, explain that to us, because man, really, we didn't really fucked up on that.
Honestly, we happy as a motherfucker, man. We came up, man. We came up for real. Me and him were talking he was at the All-Star game, and I watched him perform, and I called him right after. He was like, I couldn't have done it without you, bro. You hear me? And I'm like, bro, I'm really proud of you, bro. Like, for real, for real. I saw you as a kid. You were living with me at 8 years old, and we got our chance and you nigga went crazy. Like, for real, this shit like magic, like a dream. You don't believe it till you're living it. And we put in a lot of body of work, bro. And we happy with each other. We talk all the time. That's my son. Like, that's why I could never say nothing negative about him, no matter what. I would never do that shit.
I heard you say one thing, and I knew that it was always gonna be like this. You said you would not be in the music business if you and Wayne couldn't be just like how y'all are now.
Definitely.
And you said on some interview, and I was like, and it was about your future just in music. Was there a point though that it got a little weird? Like where it was like,
fucking right, it got weird. Just a lot of shit. It got weird for a few years. You know, just going through that situation and absorbing all that shit and listening what other bitch ass niggas had to say about something they don't know nothing about. So yeah, it got weird. But me and him stayed cool through it all. So once we put that shit behind us, that shit totally behind us. I gave him whatever he wanted. We finished that shit and that shit over with. So right now, I'm just happy that he's still doing his thing and we communicating and we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep running the numbers up.
For your career, like, you know, we got a chance to view it for over the past 20 years, but I know it's like, with all the good, there's bad. Like you said, you lost people, your mom. I know you had a brother prior to getting like cash money in that you lost. What's the thing that always kept you going? Like, what's the thing that no matter what, you was like, man, I'm not turning back? Like,
man, first of all, I grew up in a boys' home. I lived there for a few years. I lost my parents young. I lost a lot of homies. That was the motivation. The debt motivated me. I didn't let, you know, debt turned a lot of my families to junkies. Debt motivated me, and debt still motivates me. It made me want to be somebody. I wanted to be something in life. I wanted to be something besides, you know, I grew up being a dope boy. That's all we knew. And at a young age, I changed and gave them opportunity. Because really, I didn't want to see them die because I felt like, you know, living in the streets, you know, I felt like I was going to die. Majority of the time, niggas in New Orleans die real young. Right. So I just wanted to give a chance in life, give myself a chance in life. So by the time I was 15, 16, I started a record company. By the time I was 20 years old, I had $30 million in the bank from Universal.
Yeah.
It feels like we're losing a lot of young artists right now. We just lost Pop Smoke this week. So when you sign new artists who are coming from the streets, it's not really an easy transition necessarily into the industry. Is that also part of the conversation you have with them besides, you know, business and finance talks?
I try to teach a nigga to self-protect. You know, this shit tricky, bro. That's why I never wanted my kids in this shit. You know, they born in it and they got to live in it. But music get tricky, but this shit get gangster sometimes. So you have to really be prepared at all times. That's how this shit is.
Speaking of losing artists, I remember Louisiana artist, I hope I remember his name, I would definitely not want to mess it up. It was the BTY Youngin,
yeah,
right? He was, you know, him and you had a link, and, you know, he unfortunately, you know, passed away.
Definitely.
Like, reflecting on that situation as we talk about losing a lot of the young artists, is like, how does that hit home? And, you know, like, when you get an artist like that, you may have gave him stupid advance and, like, you know, feeling himself a little bit, he go back to his hometown. Do you ever kind of like give that OG advice on how to move and all that?
You try to teach them, but, you know, bro, niggas gonna have to learn. They're gonna learn. Some listen, some don't listen, you know? So you definitely try to teach them, bro, because, you know, this shit do get tricky, like I say, like even with BT, bro. He was trying, but he didn't get to finish it, you know? Other shit happens, bro, because, you know, nigga have a life before the music. And that life don't go nowhere, bro, you know? We have lives before we got into the music business, and then you got a life in the music business, so, you know, that shit never go nowhere, bro.
So speaking of life outside the music business, this is a very weird question. I want to know what you do on a day off, and I'm going to ask you why. So remember, Wayno was just painting the picture of the old Cash Money. It's what we all grew up on. To us, you're this, obviously you're yourself, you don't see this mythic figure. Like, I imagine you wake up in the morning already dripping in diamonds. You step into some luxurious fleur slip. You know what I mean? That's just Birdman, and you're always going to be like that to us.
He got a $2 million toilet. I want to know if
That's
you guys
what I'm
got
saying,
that.
but
I've seen that online.
Yeah,
you got that too?
Well, I didn't hear you.
You got a $2 million gold toilet. I remember.
Yes.
Okay,
Every
so
toilet in my bathroom is gold.
So First Slides uses a $2 million gold toilet. So I want to know, What do you do on just like a regular day? You have no business to take care of. You're just home with your family. Like, what does Birdman do? Do you watch TV like normal people?
Of course. First of all, I never had a vacation in my life. I've never been on vacation.
Ever?
Ever. So I say when I do take a vacation, it's going to be for the rest of my life. I ain't never wanted to, I feel like I might be missing something, you know? So I never been on a vacation. And a normal day in life for me is, I love my kids, my daughter, she my everything, she my world to me. She like, touched my soul. And I spent time with him. I talk to my son all the time. He come visit me. I got to go see my brother Slim. And I build my partner Hot Boy besides that. And we might be...
You have to tell me something extremely boring. Like, normal people do very boring things. Like, some days I just watch TV and vacuum. What's the most boring thing you ever do in your daytime? What do you even watch on TV, Birdman? What do you watch?
What I watch?
Yeah.
I watch the news. I stay up on that type shit.
You watch the financial news?
I like mafia movies. That's why I'm big on watching mafia movies. The Godfather, 1, 2, 3. I like military movies. I watch that a lot. I definitely watch military.
Do you kind of look at, you know, at least some, you know, maybe some semblance into what you guys have going on? Because the way how you guys move is kind of like I remember people saying, yo, they kind of move like the mafia a little bit.
I thought like I took that and brought it to what I was doing in my lifestyle. I kind of, you know, what they believed in. In the military, my pops was in the military for like 20 years, 25 years. So, you know, I was born in that shit. But the mafia thing, I really like how they think. They don't move a lot. They think more than they move because it's risky to move. Right. So it taught me how to be patient.
I didn't know you came from a military family. Does that give you discipline? For me, I really always like war movies like Full Metal Jacket and stuff just because I'm always amazed. You know, we hear about PTSD, right? But watching sort of those people live through wars and then have to come back and try to live a very normal life. Definitely. I just can't wrap my head around it ever. And that's why I always enjoy watching them. Just trying to, but anyway, like growing up with a military dad, is that where you got discipline from?
Well, my pops died young. I was young when he passed from me. So I don't know, maybe because he was in it so much, you know, that's maybe my addiction to it. And I also love cartel movies. I think that's the coolest shit ever.
You watching Narcos?
Of course.
I started watching the one.
I love Narcos. Mexico?
You know what I imagine? Like, you know what I imagine on Birdman's day off? He's in the crib making like a green juice or something. You know what I mean? Celery.
All organic vegetables?
Right.
I do want to know, because, you know, two situations that come to mind immediately. Remember Quentin Miller recently just talking about how he was kind of caught up in the crossfire between Meek and Drake, and he's like, yo, they cool now. And he feels like, you know, people might still have whatever against him. But I also think about 50. You know, 50 was commenting about the situation about you and your son, and he never really ever gave any definitive opinion on either side, because he said they gonna end up back being mad cool, and everybody who took a side, y'all gonna look hella weird. One of the notable people were Ross. And, you know, for better or for worse, you know, he engaged even in making a song about you and everything. You and Wayne, y'all are cool now. Is it something where you could be like, you know what? I know you were trying to speak up on behalf of him. I could forgive, and we could be, you know, whatever.
Well, I really don't know, bro, till I see this man. I haven't seen this man, and I don't put no energy into that. Not at all, bro. Not a thought process, no nothing. I'm trying to get billions of dollars in this shit. I ain't ever put no energy to no other nigga, period. I hear that shit and I keep it moving, but when we do see each other, we'll see how that turn out.
Okay. Makes sense.
Birdman, thank you for coming. I'm still trying to picture you at home right now just watching TV in the first line.
Really, what we do at the crib is, you know, we got the big house and the ocean, and we just smoke Cali and weed, and just, I think all day and try to figure out what's the next play and who we gonna do, how we gonna do it, and keep it pushing.
Hold on, let me just get one. The biggest check you've gotten thus far. I remember, I'm telling you, I was a little kid watching, I'm like, damn, this thing really got $100 million now. What's the biggest check you've gotten thus far that you cashed or is just wired? I don't give a fuck what it is.
475.
475 million?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Stupid question. When you get a check that big, you can't just go to the bank and deposit the shit. What do you do with a check that big?
I invest it right back in. I give Wayne 150, 200. I give Drake the same thing, and I give Nicki whatever she wants. And we keep it moving. I'm gonna do what I do for myself because I got shit I've been holding. I got money from 20 years ago, still sitting, but I invested right back in. I'm gonna turn that 450 to $1 billion, which we done did already. I got that check 7 years ago.
Do you look at the Forbes list? They have you on it every year. And you're always like in that top 10 or top 5. I gotta ask my money question. This is the money nigga. You're always up there, and people always say, this nigga ain't put out a fucking record, but he's always up there every single year. Like, I mean, what do you think about, like, even that? And also, I wonder overall, like, I was telling Wayno, I was like, how much money does it cost for Birdman to live on a monthly basis? Like, what the fuck is your expenses like?
It depends on what I'm doing or what I got going on. First of all, there's no limit to my kids. Whatever my daughter wants, she get it. But I don't give a fuck what it is. Or my son. And just like some of the people that did for me, bro, just growing up, I keep my partners with me that I really grew up with. And whatever they want, I try to give. And we just go hustle, bro. I just like to buy whatever I want whenever I want it. I look at life like every day a birthday or a holiday. I don't wait for a holiday or a birthday to make me feel like that. I try to live my life every day like it's a birthday. So I try to treat myself. I don't give a fuck what it is. If I want it, I'm gonna buy it.
You had an $8 million Maybach or something like that. What happened to it? Yeah, I got mad question. I'm sorry.
I want the $10 million Maybach.
You wanted to what?
They got one for $10 million.
They got for 10? You gonna get it?
I'm gonna get it for next year.
Oh my God.
They building them now, so when they come out.
That's crazy.
I gotta stunt till I die, man. You know how this shit go. I ain't gonna never stop.
You've ever been in the period where you're like, yo, I gotta watch my funds a little bit. Like, yo.
Come on, we gotta be smart with the money too,
no. In terms of like, maybe you took a loss and be like, let me move. I remember Diddy, that's your level, right?
Yeah.
Like, Diddy said like he had lost, like he took a loss on something. I can't remember if it was Sean John or something, but he was like, yo, he started flying like commercial for a little bit. Hey, you ever been in that period where you be like, yo, let me just scale it down, because we don't know?
I always made money in the game. For the last 20 years, I made money in the music business. Honestly, like, we made billions of dollars in the game. I done gave Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, you remember, bust down $2 billion with these people. You understand me? So money have never been a problem for me in this game, ever. You hear me? So if I cut back just because I want to, but I'm not gonna ever be foolish with my money, I'm gonna try my best to be as smart as possible. But I'm gonna live life too, though. I'm gonna live life like I wanna. I ain't gonna cheat myself or shorten myself. I'm gonna do what I want with my life, because shit, that shit could go at any minute. So I don't play with life. If I want it, I get it. I don't think about it. Period.
No regrets in this life. You got all your money questions off?
I did. I had to.
Yeah,
Look at this motherfucking shot.
I know.
We ain't never seen diamonds that big from anybody who came on the show. That's facts.
Yeah, yo, we appreciate you coming.
Wait,
out.
how much money? I'm sorry, man. How much money is that in jewelry? Like right there. You rock.
I really couldn't tell you, bro.
I'm so sorry to that.
I know my watch a band. That's $100. I really don't know, bro.
You don't even really have to entertain him with these.
But nah, man.
You've done
The
what
regular
you've done
person
well.
want to know, because, like, honestly,
Because
like,
what, they're gonna go out and buy them?
No, the thing is with Birdman, he's always given a lifestyle that people want to aspire to, and I'm pretty sure artists who signed to him, they saw all them cars in the Cash Money videos and be like, damn, I want to have the same of now. I'm telling you, so
That's why we
that's
gotta
right.
watch the documentary.
That's the picture I was painting, because I know if you show a nigga something they like, they gonna want to accomplish it.
Right.
And that's always been my motivation. That's what stunting about, showing a nigga something that they ain't got and they can try to get it.
Make it aspirational. Akademiks aspires to be as rich as you someday, Birdman. That's why he has all these questions. Thank you again for coming.
Thank y'all for having me.
Of course, congrats on a new doc. Make sure you guys go check out.
I can't wait to watch
New
it.
Cash Order.
I learned a lot.
on
Hey, bro,
Spotify.
I like what y'all doing, though, bro. I like the platform you got and what you doing.
Appreciate it.
You helping artists, bro, because
Appreciate it.
I think you know talent yourself, bro. The shit you be putting on there makes sense to me,
I appreciate it.
I think you should start your record label, man.
I done told him 10 times.
Well, it's different with Birdman. It's different when Birdman actually.
Honestly, that was one of the reasons why I came here. I wanted to tell you that. You need to start your record label, man, because you see talent. You got a platform. You fuck around and get one, you straight. For real.
Well, like, again, I know we gotta go, but I look at it in terms of, I'm like, y'all a media platform, like, what you do is like some other shit, like, being a record label and being
You
a media
got to really
platform.
love it. You got
Yeah.
to really love it.
But he also just taught us that you got to adapt and transition, right? You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into one.
I gotta learn the game
one
like him.
lane of, exactly. And he's here to
I
do
Yeah,
it.
he had Doug Morris. He had people who really
Nah, real
like
talk,
schooled him.
real talk.
You know, it's
I
like
would
you
talk
gotta
about
learn
great
it.
people. I would talk about great people: Doug Morris, Melvin Winter, and Lucian Grain. Then Monty Lippman is like, that's like my brother too. I've been working with him for 23 years, so I was taught by great people.
I respect it. I'm glad you came here, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I told him I'm like, your Birdman ain't showing up. But I'm so glad you came here because like,
And then
I'm
also,
up
like-
here, so I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Let me pull up.
We didn't think you were going to
pull
come.
up.
We didn't think you were going to actually answer our question. So we're feeling
Why
pretty good
not,
right
man?
now.
I'm cool as fuck till you fuck with me.
It's fair
Then
enough.
we get different, shit get wild. But besides that, man, we straight like a motherfucker. I really like, honestly, what y'all doing is a great platform for the industry.
Yo, we appreciate you.
so
we
much.
hope you'll come back and visit next
Of
time here in
course
New
I
York.
will.
I'm not going to
Bring
try to
some artists
rap,
next
you see
time,
what I
man. We
mean?
wanna
I
see
brought
you
my
shine.
little nephew Nino with me, but you know,
He
he's
shy?
right there with
What
me.
up, Nino?
Definitely. Nah, he ain't shy at all. Definitely. He's one of the ones that's gonna be special. His video dropped Friday, because every episode we drop a new video with a new artist. So he the first one that dropped this Friday.
okay.
Yeah.
Can't wait to check it out.
Name Nino. Name of the song called Add It Up.
We'll definitely get it.
Y'all gonna hear a lot about him, bro. He's somebody I'm really putting a lot of focus into. He's definitely on Cash Money, so I'm looking forward to see what he do in the game. He definitely got an open book to do whatever the fuck he want to do.
Unlimited budget, man. Damn.
And Lucian really was saying the truth. Drake don't have no budgets. None of them. That shit is unlimited. Do whatever the fuck you want, for real.
I respect it. I mean, it's hard to do, but y'all have a track record.
And we done made a lot of money, but before we made the money, we still was allowing to have that open budget, bro, because I was taught that. Mel and Winter, Doug Morris taught me that shit, and I gave that shit to Wayne. Wayne, we passed it on, and it kept going, and that's been the key to my success. I let a nigga do whatever they want. I never get no way involved with no kind of creativity of the artists.
The legacy is unbelievable, man,
And the legacy continues.
it continues. That's the crazy part, man. I'm surprised that, like you said, a lot of people tap out at a certain point. You seem like you're still as passionate about it as you've ever been.
A lot of my
so
peers, like, you know, you had the Rough Riders, the So Def, the No Limit, the Bad Boy, the Suge Knight. All them boys, they stopped. It was really just us at some point. Every nigga had quit. Jay had retired. Niggas quit. And when niggas quit, we went crazy. Real crazy.
I fuck with it.
Let's see, man. Go check out New Cash Order. That's out soon on Spotify. Thank you again to Birdman. We'll see you
Always a
guys
pleasure,
here
bro.
Monday on
Keep doing
Everyday
a great
Struggle.
job, bro.
Appreciate you.
Without
for
a
real.
doubt, man. It was A&R too at some point, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nah, that was up, bro.
Damn, I can't believe Birdman knows that.